No one's ever done this at 6'2". No one's ever had everybody gather around 2 hours before the game to watch them fire balls from the stands. No one's ever done that before. Not to my knowledge. Has anyone ever done that before? So he's one of one already. It just depends on what your argument is.
Right.
Right.
It's a couple of different arguments. Is he the greatest point guard of all time? Is he the greatest player of all time? Is he the greatest shooter of all time? These are all different arguments, and I don't think that you can... I personally would not have the argument of, yeah, he's the greatest player of all time.
Like, I guess, maybe this ends up in the same bucket as why I hate the halls of fame so much.
And you also hate rankings in general, lists.
I don't care who you like. I'll like who I like.
You can like whatever you want.
I've never enjoyed watching a basketball player more than I've enjoyed watching Steph Curry. Period. He wins. Argue with me. Do whatever you want. I don't care who you think is better. That's been my favorite experience, and nothing will ever change that.
But you don't think that he's the best player of all time. Maybe you do.
But who cares? Yeah, what if I do?
Well, you're wrong. That's what.
Great, let's eat.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, is that what's driving y'all? In order to get this fifth ring, you want to win a fight with somebody? You want to win an argument at the barbershop?
No, but I think that if he gets the fifth, now you can have the argument. And I made this analogy before.
You can now.
Sure you can.
Yeah.
You can argue anything.
Shaq's been doing it all year long.
About Steph being the greatest player of all time.
No, but saying like, yeah, we better start welcoming him to this conversation. Yes.
Well, I made the analogy before, and I'll pat myself on the back, pat, and say it's a great one, that if you painted a Last Supper portrait of all-time NBA players, he's in the painting. And there were 12.
How many people? 12?
12 apostles. Okay. And I think JC is right there in the middle, serving up brisket, as I recall. I can't confirm or deny, but you had the 12 apostles in there, and Steph would be in the painting.
Okay.
So,
and there are plenty who would disagree with you
that he's not one of the 12 best of all time.
Of course.
Okay. Those people are wrong.
Yeah, great.
My opinion on the matter is right.
Okay.
I've done a deep dive. I got a clipboard full of handwritten notes that we can go to.
No, I'm more interested in this idea of like that shook me that Grandy over here, who's never seen the Niners win a Super Bowl, would seemingly rather the Warriors win next year than the Niners.
That way Steph gets number 5.
Because, and then he could have some fight in the streets with Steph's legacy and what he means to you or me or the silly thing, the Rushmore.
I think it has more to do with just the deep appreciation for Steph himself, and that Steph deserves a fifth, and that because of everything that he's brought us, he deserves that fifth, and me seeing him accomplish that, something that so few players have ever done, would be extremely meaningful.
Okay, that's fair. And by the word deserves is always an interesting one. The word deserves is an interesting one.
Nobody deserves anything.
He deserves the fifth.
He deserves 7.
Yeah, he deserves 1,000. He's the best thing anybody's ever seen do anything. Honestly, in terms of experience, there's never, so that like if you want, this is the kind of the way I look at it. You can argue this from any angle that you want. No one's ever done this at 6'2". No one's ever had everybody gather around 2 hours before the game to watch them fire balls from the stands. No one's ever done that before. Not to my knowledge. Has anyone ever done that before? So he's one of one already. It just depends on what your argument is.
Right.
Right.
And for me, I would rather not go through 12 years of what I've already experienced.
There you go.
I've been a Golden State Warrior fan since, I'll say 1980, just because I think true childhood fandom starts when you're about 12. Your son's a little bit different. Yeah. Your son is...
Dude, I remember the Super Bowl on my 7th birthday.
Right,
I remember it.
You probably weren't going to a lot of games. Maybe you were, but you could say 7 or 8, whatever you want to make as the marker. I was 7 when Rick Barry won the title in 1975. And in 1975, you didn't have Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area to watch all 82 games. So you kind of only heard about it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
A little tougher to be a fan at 7 in the 70s than it is now. But if I put the marker there, I've been a Warrior fan for 50 years, and I've been through that 12-year stretch, and I don't want to do it again.
Thank you.
It was miserable. It was a great timeout. Click and roll at Warriors.com for the Kobe Bryant 5-game mini pack. Come see Kobe and the Lakers.
Dude, it's brutal.
What about my guys?
It's brutal.
And it's 12 years.
Yeah. Like, it's funny because, again, everyone gets to answer this however the hell you want. And we're talking about it because it's on our Twitter page right now. And apparently, over 75% of you, at every table for 4, there's only one person who will stand up and say, no, I do not want to trade 12 years of futility so that Steph can win one more next year. I think that's crazy. I think that is absolutely, positively bananas. The next 13 years of your life, you're going to get one run to a ring, and then you're going to get an absolute crap product that you don't even want to drive across town to go see for the next 12 years of your life. That's a terrible trade. That's worse than the Markkanen trade.
I think it's terrible when you already have 4 titles, and I just can't help but think about Sacramento,
yes,
who went 16 years between playoff appearances only to get knocked out by the Warriors in 7. And let's just say that they had won a title and they went 16 years without one. It might be a little bit more palatable for Sacramento because they've never gotten it. They've been to the finals, 0 times. Have they even been to the finals? So a franchise that's never tasted it, I understand it more, but
100%.
The greed of going for number 5, that doesn't make sense to me.
I'm with you. Like the Detroit Lions right now, they would do that. They would do that. Like anybody who's like, well, we've been sitting here actually for the last 25 years and it's futile already. So sure, we'll take 12 more if you could just squeeze in one ring. I totally get that. But again, and the concept that we're talking out here is based loosely on the idea of a Giannis or something like that. But I just, it's interesting. I guess this goes back to where, and we end up here so often, the idea of process versus result. Are we that result-oriented so that one more ring, a 5th ring for Steph Curry, and wrap that into something like you used the word almost, it felt like you were saying selfish, like you're hoarding. You're hoarding rings, but you would trade for it over a decade of like not even having something fun to go do during basketball season. That is wild to me. It's like it's not even close. It's not even a conversation. As you said, particularly because we've already experienced this with Steph. And part of me wants to reach out to every Steph fan in this Bay Area and tell you it's okay. It's cement. It's over. The legacy is done. You don't need to keep proving anything to anyone. You don't need to do that. I like the way, Grandy, you said it, where it's like it would be special to watch. I understand that. Like I get that side of it. But there's nothing more that bad that can happen. It's over. The legacy is done. The story is written.
Yeah, the dynasty's been cemented.
You can add to it, I guess, if you want, but it goes nowhere. Nowhere. He could play next year, all the games, and go 10-72, and the story doesn't change. He did it. He did it. The little man from Davidson became one of the greatest players who ever lived, the greatest small player who ever lived, probably greatest point guard who ever lived. But if your goal is to get everyone to agree with you, he can win 20 more, and you won't get everyone to agree with you.